Good afternoon and welcome to America's Home Cooking. My hair is coming down. I just clipped it up. I'm going to have to do it again. We're making a 15-minute chocolate walnut fudge. It's sort of like a candy. If you're good wanting to learn to make candy, you should walk into this department first. Okay? Now, you need an 8-inch square baking pan, okay? I've already done it. I'm reading my recipe, it's right here. Now, I've warned you, bread making is mine, candy is my grandmother's, so if I mess this up, don't be surprised. All right. You need foil and an 8-inch square pan. All right, and what you're going to do is pull out a long sheet of foil, and you're going to press it into the corners here and up as high as you can on the side here. Then you turn your pan, and you're going to lay another sheet of foil over into it. So you're going to have 2 layers of foil, and it's going to be sealed like this because we're going to have to be able to pick this chocolate fudge up. And what you're going to do is then when you do that, you have to grease the inside because you're going to have to get this foil off. So it's going to be very, very important. I had warned you already that we were going to be making this, and when my son saw, hi Tennessee Shane, you're back again. So I told you I was going to make it, so when my son saw me buying all the chocolate, this whole dessert's going to cost about $20, okay? And it was mostly with this and everything else we're going to be putting into it. So first we're going to get the nuts going. They want, what do they want? 1 cup of coarsely chopped walnuts, okay? So where did I put it? I just had it here. Yeah, I know me. You're also going to need a double boiler for this one. If you have a bowl or something you can do it, then you're better than I am. I don't have that, so I'm going to have to do it my way. So if you have a double boiler, that's good. If you don't, you're going to have to get a pan, put water in it, and be able to set a bowl over it at, you know, like a double, okay, so you can sit there and melt the chocolate. You can't melt it directly on heat. You have to melt it in a double boiler. That's why they call it double. It's one that sits on top of the other one. I'll show you. For the ones who don't cook and are wanting to learn, these things you're going to have to learn. All right. This is the bottom. Okay, I already added my water to it. This sits on top of it, okay? This is where we're going to be putting the chocolate up here. But we have to get this water hot, okay? We'll be doing that in a bit. Right now we're getting the nuts done, and we'll put them on the side. Boy, that's good for a joke, isn't it? Sandy, how dare you think something like, oh, we have enough nuts out in the street as it is what I thought of. Hi, Clock. All right, so we're going to be chopping these coarsely because this is a fudge we're making. A simple chocolate. Simple candy. Yeah, why am I the one who always has a problem with it? I wish my grandmother was here. She'd be much better at it than me. She'd give you all the ins and outs. But I have to be honest, I'm not good at candy making. I can make gummy bears. I learned how to make liquor gummy bears. That wasn't something that was necessary to learn, but it was nice to learn. Hello, Julie. And Teresa, I found your address on YouTube. It was in my wallet. See, I didn't want to lose it. So I put you in the wallet. That was the best place to put you. I wrote you down and put you there, and I couldn't find you. All right, so we've got 1 cup of coarsely chopped, they're coarsely chopped nuts, and some fine particles of nuts that I'm going to take as well. I'm not going to waste it. Okay. Now, am I nervous about making this one? Oh, yeah. I feel like my grandmother's watching me. And she's not even here. She's already deceased. Let's get this water going. We have to get it hot and boiling. Don't fill it all the way to the top because it's the bottom part. It's actually going to create steam, and actually the heat of the water will be on the bottom here, which will melt the chocolate, and then that way the chocolate doesn't get burnt. That's why we do it in a double boiler. Okay, I'm going to have to bring my book over here because I need to see what I do. Okay, so just be patient with me. It's a big book. It's a heavy book. I've got 4 books on candy making because I want to learn. 72. Don't you think that's a good time to start learning to make candy? Oh, what the heck. I don't have a heat-proof bowl, so we're going to have to do it this way. All right, you want all the chocolates? All right, we need 16 ounces of semi-sweet chocolate. You want it chopped? Yeah. Semi-sweet. That will be 16 ounces. 4. 4 times 4 is 16, and they're each 4 ounces. They want them finely chopped. So we'll take one package at a time and do this. You be an answer, let it be. Yeah. Mother Mary comes to you. That's another song I like. Well, I was in the church a lot. I failed plain geometry. How dare you, Tess? I am having a good day. Hi, O'Reilly. Tess. If the sky is purple and the grass is green, then how many sides does a triangle have? Triangle has 3. I know that. And let's see. Purple is made with red and blue, and green. Grass is yellow. Well, yellow's a prime color, but grass is made with yellow and blue, the colors. You want this finely? I even had to call my son because I forgot. I said, read the recipe to me. I said, I had. He says, you have that. You don't need that. What are you looking for? I said, the chocolates. Okay. I like taking a hammer and smashing it. I think that's small enough. That's 1. We got 3 more and then more. Okay, that's 1. Be an answer, let it be. Okay, we're going to do this one next. Age, if you do not wish to be removed off this cooking channel, I strongly recommend you quit lying, because now you've become a liar. Hi, Sosa. Thank you. God, this is going to be hard. No, it is not. Hi, car. H, it is not. I talked about what I was taught in government, which we had to take our last year, senior year in school. We only had one government teacher, and he was nasty, but he made sure we knew what we were talking about, okay? So we learned that. So it's not a political channel as much as it is I talk about things that I was taught, because people want to know why am I the way I am, or why do I believe the way I do, or things like that. So in that aspect, what you're hearing is the way I was taught. This isn't, I think you know, if I was raised the way I was, H, who do you think I voted for? I've talked about the way I was raised, so what do you think? Oh, yeah, I agree. Kamala sucks. That's all she ever did. She never answered a question. She's never done anything political except say she's black, and then she goes and she puts all the black men and destroys black families and putting all the black men in jail. She almost has a hate for black men, and yet they are very intelligent, very protective of their families, you know, like other men. They gave this country a lot more. We can actually do transfusions because of them. They have made our lives much better if people just bothered to give attention to them. Joanna, everybody makes mistakes. Lo, you made a big boo-boo voting for Donnie. I didn't say who I voted for. I said, knowing me, who do you think? I'm not going to tell you who I voted for. And if you don't like anything, and I don't care, just leave. Trump is trying to get this country, like if you were listening to the Abraham Lincoln, the same thing. A man who is trying to get the country back, using the laws that Congress gave him and everything else, and everybody's screaming, you know. But we've been invaded. And the worst thing is our last president allowed it to happen. We had a Democratic president, and there were riots, and they shot us with real bullets. And you guys are just getting pepper sprayed and things like that. You got in the way of those cars, you got run over that time. So you got it easy, so you should quit complaining. All right, let's turn this down. I'm not ready yet. I'm still chopping. That's why I said, get over it. Get over it. For you so-called liberated women of today, get over it. The suffrage movement took care of you a long time ago. And then Jane Fonda fucked you royally. And you don't even know it. And it's no love lost with Jane Fonda and I. So, if you don't like the laws, You don't know your laws. They're not teaching you the laws. What they're teaching you, these teachers that are from other countries, they're actually teaching you the religion and faith of government in their country. A communist cannot teach you democracy, cannot teach you a constitutional republic. Oh, they can read all about it and everything else, but it doesn't live in them. It lives in the Americans. And see, we have this new socialist mayor, and he's telling people, now we own our homes. And they're saying to get rid of the homeless, he wants us to put them in our homes. And I'm saying, F you. No way. I'll fill this room up with every piece of furniture I have and said, oh, this is my dining room, this is my extra dining room, this is my sewing room, this is my crafting room. I will make 100 rooms in this house to prevent I'm not putting homeless in my home. See, we were taught that when the government is going after a criminal, and remember, if you come into a country illegally, like I told you, you become a criminal because you're not obeying the laws. And if you come here, you have to bring something. I was told, Sandy, if you ever want to leave the country, remember, you go to another country and you don't like America and you want to live and claim that you're, asylum into another country, you have to realize their laws, and they're not going to accept you and carry you. You got to go with something and offer the country something. This is very important. And they don't want you to bring crime in, These were things I was taught. So I've talked enough here that you should have an idea of how I think and how I was raised, so you would have known how I voted. I don't have to say anything. All what I have to do is look down the street, see the pink hair, the purple hair, and every other hair, and I know exactly how they voted. Yeah, well, see, if they get rid of the illegals, the ones that are on welfare could take those jobs. Just hear it out. This is logic. Logic speaking. We're not going on emotions. We're talking logic only. So if you have a political point, that's not going to help because we're talking logically. There weren't that many unemployed when I was growing up. But when we got such an influx of immigrants, illegal ones coming in by the droves, we started losing jobs. So Americans don't have the job, so they can't work, which causes a problem. If the man can't work, they're quicker to hire a female because they can dominate her, because the boss is usually man at that time. I'm talking history now, and we're talking logic here. So it destroys the family because there aren't enough jobs for everybody. And my father taught me that very early on, because I caught him one time. Sewing machine needed the needle changing, and he said he'll fix it. And he said, this is what she did. She didn't put the needle in right. I said, well, why didn't you tell her? He said it's her to know. See, it was her job to have read the instructions, because sewing machines come with instructions on, how to thread the needle and basic stuff. And he said, do you like eating? I said, yes. He said, well, her mistake puts food on our table. And so I learned. He said there aren't enough jobs for everybody because we have people coming in and they're taking the jobs. So he gave me an economic reality. And as they came in, I noticed that there's less and less they can get the work cheaper because they're not Americans. They really don't have to pay them the minimum wage. Yeah, the tricks the government works. So that's what happened. They got the job. So if they leave the country and leave the jobs, the welfare would have jobs to go to. And then that way, the federal funds would not disappear the way they're screaming about chocolate. 2 ounces of unsweetened. All right, we need 2 ounces of this. So they could take those jobs and all of America would be working. We'd be working as a, why didn't that come up like that? Okay, we'll go this way if this is how we want it done. Okay. This is 4 ounces, so I need 2 ounces of this. So they would be working, everybody would be working, they'd be able to buy a home. Your taxes wouldn't be as high then. Oh, 10, you must be a Democrat and a hateful one at that. So this way, everybody would be working and helping the country, then things wouldn't be so expensive. Things would be made in America by Americans. When I grew up, clothes were made in America. 1/4, that's 1 ounce. Okay, we gotta go down a little lower. And I can understand the dynamics of it, you know. But this is the history. This was government. This is how we learned it worked. 4 and 4. Okay, we want 2 ounces, so we want, there's 4 there, and there's 4 here. So that's how I was taught government worked. So it makes sense. Everybody would have a job, everybody would work. But that was my government that I was taught, as well as economics by my father. So it might sound weird to you today because you're spoiled with the young people. You're accustomed to doing and saying what you want, and also running around and telling your parents off and say, I'll get BCW on you and all this other crap. If I even thought of a second of what you guys do, I wouldn't have a face. I'd probably be dead. My parents would kill me after they beat the hell out of me. I'm not unemployed. I am retired and I'm starting a business, my YouTube. So get over it. Yeah, because they can't do it. So, this is how I was raised. Take responsibility, and I'm still working. I could have sit around on my finely chopped. I know you want finely chopped. Yeah, I could sit around like seniors in a nursing home and stuff like that. And like my girlfriend says, I love her statement. She says, I've got too much to do. I don't have time to die and get old. She's a few years younger than I am. So this is how you could say this crazy hippie generation is. We don't know how to quit. We just keep on going. But see, the people who don't have understanding of the laws, like a lot of stupid people protesting who don't fully comprehend the law and what could happen to them. But I love that you all are protesting because you're getting arrested. And you know the beautiful part, the FBI was saying they didn't have fingerprints and stuff, and they were running out of it. So it was harder to catch criminals. But now you're doing that, and they're busting you, and they're fingerprinting you. So now they got a nice big collection of new people. So in your zeal to be stupid, you're helping the federal government anyway. But that's all right. See, this is where we had to take government. It was mandatory. You couldn't get out of high school without taking government in Texas. I don't know if it's the way anymore, but that's how it was when I was growing up in Texas. You could not get out of high school without half a semester of government. And that teacher was wicked. Okay, what else do you want in this? Let's see what else we have to put in here. Excuse me. Toss the chocolates, the baking soda, and salt till baking soda is evenly distributed. Okay, so we need a half a teaspoon of baking soda and 1/8 of salt. Do not use the salt mixture. Use iodized salt, please. So we'll put in 1/8 here. And 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda. I don't know why they would need baking soda with this. I haven't made enough of this to say that I know, so I'm going to not lie and say, oh, I know, because I'd be an idiot for saying it. Okay. Okay. They want us to toss this around. And they want the baking soda thoroughly mixed. Don't ask me why. Hi, War. Hold on a minute.
Let me check the mail first.
All right, check it and let me know.
Yeah, hold on.
Okay, now what do you want us to put in here? I mixed it up. Okay, you want the whole can? A tablespoon of vanilla. Okay. They want a 14-ounce sweetened condensed milk. Can opener. We're going to pour all of this in. Hi, Queen. 10, you don't matter. We're making some fudge. It came in. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
You're welcome.
I took the door. We are making a chocolate walnut fudge. Okay? I told you I'd be making this. When my sons saw all of this, they said, "Ooh, Mommy's making candy." I said, "Do you remember the last candy I made? It ended up in the trash." He said, "Yeah, but you're working on it." They know me. All right, we're going to pour all this in. I even know how to make this, but I don't feel like making this. But I have a recipe for making this kind of milk. Oh, good God. You could keep on going with this stuff. You want to see how this is made. It's really interesting how it's made. But the thing is I would have to make it right away and use it because I can't store it. Because when they make it, they freeze it right away. They're very cold. Well, they don't freeze it. They get it cold very fast, and I can't do that. It takes me longer. All right, now what do you want me to do with it? Now we added that. All right, 1 tablespoon. Didn't I get vanilla? I'll be right back. Okay, give me back my spoons. And a tablespoon of vanilla, and we're going to stir this around, and then we're going to get it over that water that is boiling, creating lovely steam. Now, I am not good at making chocolate or candy, but I figured this is a really easy, they said 15 minutes, that's why I said it's got to be easy. Okay, let me get you over here. There. Get rid of that. don't throw the nuts, Sandra. You'll be back at chopping again. Okay. We're going to melt this, and this is what we're doing, okay? Ron, that language, really? H, I'm going to have to remove you if you continue. Hi, Ron. Okay. Now that I've used the spoon and stirred this up, we use our rubber spatula and start melting this slowly. It'll be 1, 2, 3 after we get this done. Oh, for the lady who wants apricot butter, I can't do the recipe right now because of the season we're in. I'll explain it in a minute. I'm cleaning up behind you so we can put this together. Come on, chocolate. But no, I don't think I'll need that. Okay. So when I talk about these things, I'm talking about the way I was raised. We were always raised to take responsibilities for our actions. And I said, you know, they shot us in the 60s. I see no reason why they can't shoot the protesters of today. Oh, my mistake. Republicans and only Democrats can shoot people. You know, that's how I look at it. I shouldn't do it. I'm in on the right, but I'm not here for politics. Yeah. Anyway, this is a fudge, a walnut fudge we're going to be making. They wanted us to do the chocolate so it doesn't burn because it gets to a point where it loses its gloss. So they have us chop it fine from what I've read and learned about chocolate. When it gets that dull, it actually gets gritty and we don't want it to get gritty. And you can't put it directly on the heat. This is why we have to do it this way to prevent it from burning. So these are the things we have to do with chocolate. When you go to make candy, you have to make sure that sugar is completely melted before you use it. Oh, okay. Grace, this is how you listen. I'm not good at candy making. This is a first real attempt other than making gummy bears. Gummy bears are fun to make. But I was wasting it. I said, why am I wasting so much gummy bear, you know? And so I proceeded to get another book to explain what I was doing wrong. One thing I have learned watching the news, the most violent of the people and the ugliest of the people are the Democrats. Republicans seem to have more understanding of what's going on and will sit there and, you know, talk with you politically, and they'll even be your friend if you're a Democrat. But Democrats will sit there and say, I can't talk to you because you're a Democrat, you're a Republican or a conservative or an independent or something, you know, which is really stupid because we are Americans. We should be able to talk. Oh, baking. Most terminologies are baking, okay? That's why I'm going to sit there and say, come cook with me, and we're going to be doing things in baking and stuff to help people learn how to make simple things in baking. And as we do it, we'll just get more complicated to where we make some really nice dishes, and then you can show your family, and they'll smile and be very happy. Hi, Range. Hi, Grace. Candy. I've never really been a really big candy person. I know why I'm like that. I got a reading on it. I had died as a diabetic. I was French, and I ate the sweets, and I literally died from diabetes. When I came through in this life, like I said, I'll collect the candy, but don't expect me to eat it. You know, that's just me. And I seem to come through with that knowledge that I am not. Be careful you don't put your flame too high, because this is melting and coming together. How in the heck am I going to know when all this is melted? Well, it's just about. So candy isn't something I'm overly fond of, but I love good desserts. That's why I'm so into nutrition. Look, I like to eat. Number one, I don't want to be a diabetic. Okay? So I'm going to make sure the food's nutritious as I can, because I don't want to have a second round with that. I was shocked when they told me that, and they said, you don't like candy, do you? I didn't say anything, but I said, yeah, how do they know I really don't? But I like good food. Okay, let's see. Did I get everything melted in this yet? Yeah, I don't see anything else. All right. You got to take this off. Oh, dang. I didn't get a mat. Oh, come on. Get off. I'll fix you in a minute. Okay. Get off the knife. I didn't see anything like that written on my channel. I think people tell people to get off because they're insulting, but nobody has said that or told them to get off. This page is for anybody who likes good food and wants to learn to cook or share recipes or learn about cooking. All right, so we put the nuts in here. So we're putting the nuts in here, and then we're going to spread it out in that beautiful 8x8 that's going in the refrigerator till tomorrow. I'm not going to do the rest of it tonight. La, 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 la. No, I'm gonna hate cleaning this pot. I can see it already. Okay. Now this has to sit in the refrigerator. They say 2 hours. I don't know. Yeah, I'll still be up in 2 hours. I can't put this in the refrigerator till it cools down some before I get it in there. They want you to flatten this out. I mean, they've got so many beautiful candies and things to make. But if I have to eat candy, English toffee will be it. Yes, Grace, you're true about that. And Lake. Okay, that's it. Now this has to go into the refrigerator for a while. Please do not forget you have to grease this foil or you're not going to be able to get this out, because the reason you have foil on the side is we're going to have to pick it up like that. How long do you want it in the refrigerator? It says it's going to take about 2 hours. Now I am going to read so you know how to get this out. Using the foil overhang, which is the extra that you have over the edge, remove the fudge from the pan, and then you take that foil off, and then you cut it into little squares. All right, because fudge is a sort of candy, so you don't want too much. I tell you, sometimes I shouldn't read some of the stuff that's there. Hi, Roy. So what you're going to do is 2 hours, maybe 3, 4, no matter how long. We're not sure how long it's going to take, but they say at least 2 hours, then check it. You sit there and you pick it up with the foil on both sides, because you have the foil overhanging on both sides. You can see it's hanging over. That's how you're going to pick this up. Peel the foil off gently, then you get a knife and you cut it in little squares. And that's how you make this candy dish, an easy one. Roy, I see you. Oh, well, anyway, I've got to put this in the refrigerator and clean this pan. And that's all it is to it, like I said. Yeah, homemade is always so much better. But if you want to learn to bake, I might as well start telling you. We're going to be making buttermilk biscuits. And I will give you the exact measurements for them, so you will not be disappointed on it of trying to figure out, because people say, I love the way people sit there and they say, oh, a handful like this and a handful like this. This is not helping people who don't understand cooking and baking. Now, when I give you the ingredients that we're going to need and what you need, you can sit there. You'll have the choice of doing, if you want to make shortening or butter, because I'm going to use butter. If you want to use shortening, you can use shortening because it'll be the same thing. You'll be able to decide if you want to use buttermilk or if you want to use milk. It'll be the same thing. It's just that you can change. But the thing is I'm going to be making light whole wheat, but if you just want to make plain all-purpose ones, we'll be able to do that. But I'll show you how you can do it. And that's what we'll be doing. That'll be one of the first things that you're going to learn. One thing I do want to teach you is how to make a beautiful blue cheese dressing for a salad. They are so good. And I always recommend to get a good blue cheese. Gorgonzola is a good, strong blue cheese. They're the ones who said done. They said let it sit for 2 hours. It'll be cold. That's really when you know it's done. I can feel the warmth under here, and as you can see, it's starting to set up, but it's going to set is what it's going to do. Oh, Grace, it'll be different, because I have people who have never had biscuits. They said, is it like a scone? So I figured the best thing to do is give the ratio of how to make biscuits, and then we'll do a scone another time, and then you can actually see
the ratios in them are slightly different. I'm going to ask you, Cookie, who's Rag Bader 26? I don't know. Okay, so I'm going to let you go now. So you know how to finish this up. I can't because I'm not going to hold the phone for 2 hours like that. That's just, oh yeah, I'm going to try it. It's an easy recipe, but like they said, don't let that chocolate take direct heat, and also don't get to the point where it's dull. You can see it's got a shine on it, and that's what you want. Other than that, you'll burn it. Look up at the comments, Cookie. Oh, wow. Grace. Okay, I'll see you then, Grace. But that's pretty much it for today. But if you do make this, remember it's got to set in the refrigerator till it sets. They recommend 2 hours, but I don't know how your refrigerator is working, so you'll have to judge that. But do remember that you're going to pick it up with the foil. Don't cut it like this. You got to get it out of this pan. You might have to flip it upside down and slowly peel that foil off. Then cut it into the pieces that you want. Remember, it is candy, so you don't want big pieces. Okay. Cookie, you just missed it. We're making a chocolate fudge walnuts. We're actually making some sort of a fudge, which is the beginning of making candy. But I have to go now. Okay, so listen, all of you, take care. Enjoy the rest. Nothing else I can tell you. It's good. Okay, because I got some on my finger. So listen, take care and enjoy your day. Bye-bye.